Are you thinking about buying your first home in Houston, Texas and don't know where to start? Hi, my name is Aaron, and today I wanted to break down the easy steps. They're super simple. The easy steps to take to alleviate some of the stress, if not all of the stress, from buying your first home. Today I'm actually doing a final walkthrough with my client today. This is on her actual first home. And I just kind of wanted to go through the process and let you know it's not as hard as it may look. Hi, my name is Aaron Lathan. I'm a realtor in the greater Houston area, and every week I'm helping buyers relocate to and throughout the Houston area. If you need anything as far as where to eat, sleep, live, play in the greater city of Houston, I'm your guy. Feel free to shoot me a text, give me a call, shoot me a DM, whatever you gotta do to get in touch with me. Also, like this video and subscribe. I'm making videos every week giving my opinion on what to do and what's going on in the greater Houston area. So like I said, if you need anything at all, feel free to shoot me a text, reach out, I'm your guy. So first things first, as a buyer, you gotta understand that it's not that hard, right? Buying a home is super simple. And if you have, the right pieces in place, everything is gonna go as it should. It's gonna almost feel like it's moving too fast if you have the right pieces in place. So the first thing that you kind of gotta understand is that you're not alone in this. You're not alone, right? You have people on your side that are gonna be looking out for you. If you pick the right teammates, i.e. your lender and your realtor, everything is gonna be good. But things that you need to take care of on your behalf, you need to make sure, first step, priority one, is that your money or your overall finances are in order. So I've been doing this for a few years now, and I have never seen a purchase go through where a buyer has absolutely no money invested in the property. So you're gonna have to have some money for down payment or for closing costs to buy that home. Now, there are exceptions. There are things like down payment assistance programs. Every once in a while, a seller will offer you some closing costs. So there are exceptions to that. But a good rule of thumb, in my opinion, is to kind of already have 5% stashed. And so that can come from a combination of gifts, your savings. Sometimes you have a good employer that'll let your 401k cover a lot of it. So there's opportunities and options as far as how you have that 5% set aside. But the important thing is that you have it set aside. The next thing that you want to do is discover or kind of decide what your timeline is. So if you just got into a lease and you have a brand new year on that, there's not really much you can do because no one is going to allow you to basically hog up a house for a year while we wait for your lease to be done. So you're either gonna need to be breaking that lease or paying your way out of that lease, rather, don't break it. Paying your way out of that lease, or maybe if we're doing a new construction thing, we can kind of time it out to where when we start the build and it finishes, by the time the house is actually finished, you're moving in. But you need to determine what your timeline is because that'll kind of determine everything. If you plan on, like I said, moving somewhere within the next couple months, then typically in a normal environment, from time that we have a contract accepted to the time we close is typically like 30 to 45 days. So that kind of tells you everything as far as when we need to get pre-approved, when we need to start looking for houses and kind of all that stuff, right? So backing up, first step, having some money set to the side. Second step, determining your timeline. I would say the third most important step before you even talk to a realtor is deciding or figuring out kind of what your goal is for new construction, or not new construction, for buying a home. Sorry about that. You can tell I love new construction. For buying a home, is this gonna be your forever home? Is this gonna be your new construction house that you eventually turn into a rental or Airbnb? Those things look greatly different depending on what you're trying to do. Is this just a starter home that you can afford for right now and you plan on keeping it, a couple years and then cashing out later? All of those homes look different and the purchases look different. The reasoning behind it looks different. I just had a client, a family friend of mine. They just bought a house and it's going to be like their dream house. It was super big, super expensive. It was $300,000+. It was in a Katy suburb near great schools, a lot of eateries, but they're going to be put for the next, 10 to 15 years. So for them, it's kind of more of a forever home. They wouldn't want to deal with some of the things that I deal with in the Independence Heights area, which is an area that's kind of transitioning. There's a lot of townhomes going up, a lot of newer crowds, like a lot of young professionals that are moving to that want to be close to the city, but the schools aren't as great, right? So those things look completely different. They will never probably be able to make a great rental income off of that house like we would, and they won't see the fast appreciation like we would, but the school systems and the overall like feeling of being safe and in a community is going to always be higher than we will have in the city, right? So those things look different depending on what you're trying to do with that house. So once you've got your money saved, you got your timeline in order, and you've got your reasoning or the type of house that you want to buy kind of like lined out, the very next thing that I would do is then say, reach out to a realtor or a real estate agent. Now, some agents don't want you to talk to them until you've already been pre-approved, and I can understand that reasoning, just because a lot of people come to you and they're not really ready. But I'm different. I have been in the industry, for several years now. I know what I know what lenders are amazing. I know who has the best programs. I know who has, some of the cheapest fees. I know who's going to work really great with my clients depending on their specific need. So I would much rather refer you to a great source. I also know more programs, right? Not all banks are the same. So I would much rather you come to me, discuss items 1 through 3, and then we game plan on step number 5, which is to go and get a pre-approval, right? So step 1, go through, make sure your money's good. Step 2, get your timeline in order. Step 3, make sure that you know what kind of house and the reason that you're buying this kind of house. Step 4, talk to a realtor. Go through steps 1 through 3 with your realtor, and then we move on to step 5, which is getting with your lender. Now, your lender's gonna need a couple documents. They're gonna need a couple years of tax returns. They're gonna need some bank statements. They're gonna need to see basically what your money is, what your salary is, what your debt to income ratio is, what your credit is. And if you have, like a 640 or above, you're pretty much good with any lender in the country right now. So you basically just wanna make sure that everything is good, and that's all they're doing is verifying that everything that you're saying about your income, your debt, and all that stuff is actually what it is. Once you have that, you've provided all that to the lender, you're going to go ahead and submit all the documents to the lender. They're gonna tell you, hey, you're approved for X amount. Based on your goals, where you're trying to be, the type of house that it is, that's gonna determine where our search begins. Because like I said, if this is a forever house for you, that's gonna look greatly different if you're considering school systems and restaurants and green spaces and walking trails. That's gonna look very different if you have an approval of 300 versus an approval of 500, or if you're trying to be in the city, in a transition neighborhood, or in the suburbs. It's gonna look greatly different depending on that approval amount and your goals, right? So once we've figured that out, we've narrowed down our areas, it's time to go look, all right? So we go and look, and then we put in an offer and it gets approved. All right, so now we're in, I think this is step 7, now we're in contract. Once you're in contract, you go and you do a couple inspections with your inspector. You're gonna get somebody outside of any of the real estate agents or anybody a part of the contract to actually verify that the house is good. Once that inspection comes back and we can decide whether or not we wanna move forward with the house, we do. After all of that, some time passes, it's super simple. You, I, the other agent, and the title company are all into communication with each other. You know, everything's above the board. Everybody is on the same page. And then as we move forward, there's going to be documents and things that the lender and title company kind of needs from everybody involved. But that's all stuff that I'm kind of spearheading on your behalf if I'm your realtor. And then after that, we're doing a beautiful walkthrough like this prior to closing, and we're taking beautiful photos and saying, hey, congrats, you're a homeowner, right? So the process is super, super not hard. It's very straightforward. Just to kind of recap everything, make sure you got your money in order. Make sure that you have your timeline in order. Make sure you know what you want to buy, the type of home that you want to buy, why you want to buy it, what's the future that you see with that home. Get in touch with a bomb-ass realtor. Have that realtor refer you to an amazing lender that he thinks will work best for your situation. Once we have that approval in hand, we're going to go search. After we search and we find the one for you, we put in an offer. After that offer is accepted, we're going to get that home inspected to make sure that you're not buying a lemon. Once everything is what it is, we're moving towards closing. It's pretty simple. So if you have any questions at all about the process, or if you have any questions about where to eat, sleep, live, play in the greater city of Houston and the surrounding suburbs, I'm your guy. Feel free to reach out to me morning, noon, or night. I'm here to help you make the best decision and match up your lifestyle with where you want to live. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Doing videos every week. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have a great day.